My camping story. As me and two of my friends were hanging out, Jose and Dave, we were at Dave's house playing Xbox Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies. Dave asked about going camping on his uncle's property. His uncle had about 120 to 150 acres of land for hunting. We were not in hunting season, and he had cameras all around the woods for deer and hogs. It was private property, so no one can go in without his permission. There's trails and stands all through the property. We said yes. Later that day, Dave asked his uncle about camping in his woods. He was hesitant about it and being a little weird about it. We were 17, so we didn't mind a lot about it and tried to convince him to say yes. After a while, he said yes and we got existed. It was Wednesday and we waited till Friday to go camping. We started packing on Thursday. We brought sleeping bags, a big 3-person tent, nice ECT. When the day came, Dave picked me and Jose and went to his uncle's. It took around 45 minutes to get to his property. When we got there, his Uncle Joe was by a clean and well-sized trailer by the gate. He gave us a key to the gate and a map of the property. He circled good spots on the map to camp. As we started going in the woods, Jose said to Dave, "Wasn't Uncle Joe acting a little weird?" Dave said, "I didn't notice anything. He's probably worried about bills or something." Jose shrugged his shoulders and they kept walking. Us three were talking for an hour or so, till we got to our spot. We got there perfectly fine. It was around 7:30. We got set up for the night. I made the fire as Dave and Jose made the tent. We stayed up late telling stories and laughing left and right. We stayed until Sunday. I heard something behind me later that night. I was getting tired, so I thought my head was messing with me. So I didn't say anything. A good night's rest might straighten my head. So I thought. In the morning, I didn't see anything. We got sticks for the fire that night. Later on, we went on the trails and see what we can find. Later that afternoon, lunch was made over the fire. Jose heard something in the woods. He didn't mind it though, and so did Dave. They thought it was a squirrel or rodent in the woods. That night, by the fire, I said something about the sound in the woods. They said they heard similar, but Jose jokingly said it was a Wendigo following us. Dave told him to shut up. Later on, as we go to bed, the sound of leaves were heard like someone is walking outside the tent. As Jose and Dave were talking, I told them to be quiet to see what I was hearing was true. Then it stopped. I just forgot about it and slept with my 10-inch knife under my pillow. We went to bed around 10 or 11. I'll say 4 hours later, something woke Dave up. As he listened, he heard rustling outside in the bushes. He woke me and Jose up and said that something is outside. So we listened and heard it too. Since I had the biggest knife and the one that doesn't get scared easily, I went out to check with a lamp. A few minuets went by and nothing happened. One of them asked, "What out there?" I just said it was a raccoon wrestling with another for food. They sighed and relived and laid back down. As I turned around to get back in the tent, I barely noticed something behind the tent, the area of the lamp. I think it was 5 or 6 feet. It was, like I said, behind the tent and at the edge of the light. When I realized what I saw, I froze in my place. I didn't want to tell the boys. So the thing behind the tent attacked or something. I just stood there. That felt like a lifetime. One of the boys came out to check on me. He asked what was wrong. As he turned at what I was looking at, he froze too. Then Dave came out wondering why we were so quiet and just standing there. When he looked, he froze too. I started counting down from 3, then said run. I was well built and I had good endurance, so I could run fast. Dave isn't fat nor built, just skinny. He didn't have a problem keeping up with me. I couldn't say the same for Jose. He wasn't fat but had a dad bod. He never ran or worked out, so he was behind us too as we ran. The creature started chasing us. We never ran so fast in our lives. Jose had tripped and fell. I tried to help him, but it got to him first. I just kept running. Me and Dave heard Jose screaming. Then dead silences. When we both got to the front gate and saw Uncle Joe was still up, Dave knocked on his door. He opened and asked what wrong. He tried to explain that a creature chased us and got Jose. He asked us what it looked like. Dave said it looked like it was like 8 feet tall. A head had a skull of some type of deer. It was skinny to the bone but really fast. Us two thought that he thought that we were high or something, but he seemed to believe us. He told us both to get inside as he looked for it. We both soon fell asleep. I woke up in my own bed. Same as for Dave. I thought it was some kind of nightmare, but the next day on the news said otherwise.
I am a deep cave explorer. we discovered something horrible in the abyss. We descended into the bowels of the earth with nothing but our flashlights and our wits. The cave system we were exploring had never been touched by human hands before, and we were eager to be the first to uncover its secrets. As we ventured deeper into the cave, the air grew colder and the walls began to twist and turn in unnatural ways. It was as if the cave itself was alive and trying to swallow us whole. We trudged on, our hearts pounding with both fear and excitement. We were all experienced cave explorers, but this cave was unlike anything we had ever encountered before. The darkness seemed alive, and at times we could swear we heard whispers coming from the shadows. We turned a corner, and our flashlights illuminated a crevice in the cave wall. Holy shit, I breathed. We squeezed through it and found ourselves in a large chamber. As we stepped into the room, a putrid smell filled our nostrils. It was the stench of death. A sense of dread washed over us as our eyes adjusted to the dim light. There were bones scattered on the ground, and strange symbols etched into the walls. They looked as if they had been made by something not quite human, something written in an ancient language I had never encountered in all my days. Suddenly, we heard a sound that made our blood run cold. It was a low, guttural growl coming from deep within the cave. We shone our flashlights toward the source of the noise, and our breath caught in our throats. In the corner of the chamber, we saw movement. At first, we thought it was a trick of the light, but as our eyes adjusted, we realized that it was something else entirely. Something that no one could have ever imagined. A writhing colony of eldritch horrors began to emerge from the shadows, their grotesque forms twisting and writhing in the dim light. They were unlike anything we had ever seen before. They looked like overgrown centipedes, but with too many tendrils, legs, appendages, and masses of feelers sticking out of their faces, and their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. They moved with a fluidity that was both mesmerizing and terrifying. We tried to back away, but it was too late. The creatures had us cornered, and we knew that we were in for the fight of our lives. Pain and fear gripped me as I watched my friends fall one by one. Their screams became deafening, echoing off the walls of the cave. I was alone, with nothing but the sound of my own heart pounding in my ears. One of the eldritch horrors lunged at me, its jaw snapping inches from my face. I managed to dodge it, but not before a long gash appeared on my cheek. Blood poured down my face as I stumbled backwards, trying to gain some distance from the monsters. I could feel my strength fading as the creatures closed in on me. I knew it was only a matter of time before they would rip me apart too. I closed my eyes, bracing for the end, as somebody lit a flare gun into a pool of gasoline, sending a burst of flames and heat everywhere. I took the chance to go back the way we came as fast as I could, leaving my fellow explorers as I stumbled towards the exit, my mind reeling from what had just happened. The outside world was in the middle of the day, sunlight beaming down, warm and deceivingly calm to what was going on beneath us.
Night terrors. Ever since I watched that video, I just know it. For clarity, I've been getting these nightmares. Not regular ones where you wake up with a pounding heart. Ones where I'm waking up screaming. Most of them I don't remember, but when I do, I immediately write them down. For example, this is an excerpt from one of my writings. Through the thickets of branches and bushes, there was something there. I just knew it. I could feel its presence. It was almost like whatever it was, it knew I was there. The forest that I found myself in was thick and overgrown. It was hard to see anything. From where I stood, however, there was a slight opening between two branches. That's where I saw it. The slightest movement through the still of the trees. A black figure blended with its surroundings. If it hadn't moved, it would have been impossible to see. I couldn't quite make out anything else other than its face, or lack of. The thing had no eyes or mouth, not even a nose. I quickly noticed that it was moving closer, but when I tried to run, my feet stayed cemented to the ground. My body was frozen, forcing me to stand and watch this towering creature move closer and closer until eventually, it was right in front of me, and at that moment I had woken up by my own scream. I don't remember how it started. but I had a good lead on what it was. My friend is obsessed with creepypasta. She would bring it up in quite a few of our conversations. So naturally, when she wanted to show me a video, I agreed. The video started off in the woods, the cameraman zooming in and out of random things and scanning across the wide array of evergreens. But at the halfway mark, it started to get dark and oddly fast. You can see the cameraman even get nervous by it, by the shaking of the camera and sharp movements. In the back you can hear his heavy breathing accompanied by the thumping and snapping of his boots. But there was something else. A faint bell. It sounded like a grandfather clock hitting the next hour. He whipped the camera around to the direction, breathing intensifying. In the corner of the camera is where you see it, the thing. The cameraman doesn't notice and continues on. Throughout the rest of the video, you can see the thing following him. And at the end, it was right behind him. There was a scream and then the video cut. I think that's what started these nightmares. I'm just confused as to why they're so intense. I never get nightmares over stuff like that. Why is this different? Can someone help me?